everybody. This is episode 9 of the Noel and Mike Project, or NMP for short. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Noel Daniluk.
NMP covers all the interesting articles that we find across the all-glorious internet.
Fancy interwebs.
Alright. So, I'll start off with mine first.
What we got?
This past year, the Nintendo PlayStation console went all over the internet. People believed it, people didn't believe it. You know, it was a legit combination of Sony and Nintendo working together to make something happen. But then what ended up happening was that Sony wanted to push disc-based. Nintendo didn't like that, so then they separated their ways and Sony went down their own path, did their own thing. But the people who have it finally fired it up, and it does work.
So what, they've just been sitting on this console for how long now?
Yeah, I think what ended up happening, like someone found it.
So they dug it up out of somewhere, turned it on, they're like, hey, it still works. You'll never get to play it.
Pretty much.
It's here, it works. They need to take that and throw it in a museum or something, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because that's a piece of tech that just you won't ever see anywhere else.
It looks like, according to the images, it looks like it's rocking the Famicom cartridge. One second.
I was thinking.
You see, he's playing Bomberman 5 on it, and it's got a cartridge in it right there.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because if you haven't seen it, I'll link it and show some little thingamabobbers in there. But it's the Super Nintendo controller that says Sony PlayStation on it with the Super Nintendo
logo.
Yeah, the little 4, I don't even know what you'd call those, beans.
Yeah.
They look like little beans.
Yeah, because Sony and Nintendo now, as we all know, are two of the top 3 big game companies out there. Imagine how big they would be if they joined forces.
Yeah, if they stayed as one.
Yeah, that straight up insane. It's a wild idea. Would there be only top 2 at this point? Would there be a third party like Ouya maybe come in and fill in the place of the third? Who knows? But
yeah, definitely. It's the video game market would have been
vastly different.
Vastly different if these two were together, then Microsoft joined in, and Sega was still relevant. Think about it if Sega still existed.
Sega didn't have as big of a market as a
lot
of people think they did back in the day.
No, I know that, but just in the aspect that they were still making consoles.
Yeah, they would not be around. they stopped making consoles for a reason. Have you played a Sega game recently?
Yeah, they're not good.
They're not the greatest. They really do need to get their heads out of their asses and pull something out.
Yeah.
I mean, every now and then, don't get me wrong, Sega will have like an awesome title. It's just they release more shovelware than they do games that are actually worth a damn.
Yeah.
And that's just the unfortunate reality of it.
So the Nintendo PlayStation was thought to have created 200 prototypes. The console would not only play Nintendo cartridges, but compact discs. However, due to a public fallout, the prototypes were destroyed, but one survived.
So it was supposed to play both?
That's what it looks like.
Really? That much I did not know about the console.
Yeah, it was going to do both. However, due to the fallout between the companies, it says they were offered $45,000 for the console, but they don't want to sell it. Instead, they want to do what you said: put it in a museum someday.
Yeah, throw it in a museum. If you got more than one, I mean, there's 200 of these bad boys out there. Where are the rest?
No, they're destroyed. It says there were 200 made, and then the prototypes were destroyed, but at least one survived.
Oh no!
So that's insane. Probably the only one. Nintendo and Sony probably don't even have them.
Yeah,
these two, father and son duo, have it.
I wonder how they got their hands on this thing. That's insane.
If I remember the story correctly, I think they were like going through some box or something in the attic.
Yeah, but how did they acquire it in the first place? I mean, it's a prototype. That's not something you can just go out to the store and like, oh, let me pick up this prototype. Oh.
I don't know. I'm loading the article really quick. Not quick at all, actually.
It's thinking.
It's thinking about loading the article.
But it is an interesting find. I wonder if you can get paid from a museum to donate something like that, or if a museum would even pay for something like that, or even what type of museum would even take something like that. I don't know.
Probably a Smithsonian or something.
Yeah. What they get?
It doesn't say. The prototype model was found by the son of a businessman who had ties with a former Sony executive, believed to be Olafur Olafsson, who is the CEO of Sony in 91.
So he knew a guy.
Yeah, so his father was cool with this guy, and he probably took it. So I think they found it like in an attic in a box.
Yeah.
So his dad must have passed away. Then they were cleaning the house out and found it, and then was like, "Holy, wow!"
That's a hell of a find, though.
Oh, for sure.
That's like a legendary find.
Mm-hmm.
Because that council, even in existence, is legendary.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what do you got?
All right, well, let's talk about drones for a little bit. Everybody loves drones. They're a big thing these days.
I like drones.
Apparently, the military's got this drone that they use for security purposes. They've had it for a while now. But the company who makes it wants to commercialize it. And basically, this drone flies as long as it wants. It never has to come down. It doesn't run on batteries. Basically, it runs and it's tethered to the ground. Basically, this very, very, very thin wire that runs power through. But the cable's powerful enough, strong enough where you could like just yank and tug on it all you want, and it's not going to go anywhere, kind of thing.
It can deal with wind resistance and all that.
Yeah, so it's not going to go anywhere essentially. So this thing is basically it just flies around indefinitely, and they're looking to bring the tech and commercialize it to sell it to other companies other than for military use. It's actually a pretty sweet idea because you could throw this thing in a centralized location and you could get all kinds of footage from up high from a place you're not going to be able to normally get footage from.
Yeah.
Which is actually pretty nifty. Going alongside that, a different company has created an autonomous drone. Basically, this thing flies itself. We got self-driving cars these days. Why not have a self-flying plane? They basically launch this thing and it flies itself. It avoids obstacles and it flies around them, that sort of thing.
Just say 30 miles an hour? Yeah, in the 30 miles an hour.
Yeah. But it's interesting how much tech is going into these drones now. Drones have been around for a while. They're being adapted by a lot of hobbyists these days. And the amount of stuff you can do with them is just simply staggering.
That is sweet.
But it's enough. It's enough about drones. Short and sweet one for you. Got some sweet drones coming out. What you got?
Well, my article partially loaded, only due to the fact that the Chicago Tribune wants me to register in order to read their articles, which I do not feel like doing.
Screw you, Chicago.
So I'm going to read the title and elaborate. It's pretty much self-explanatory. It's an old feature disappearing from new cars' dashboards. In some select 2016 models, the CD player is not being put into the vehicle.
Rip that right out of there.
Yep. So long, CD player. Because with all these new radios that have USB ports and Bluetooth and all that kind of stuff, everyone's just playing everything off of their phone. Because your phone can have hundreds of gigs of music available, or you have Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play.
Yeah, there's so many free streaming services out
Pandora.
there. You don't even need a device.
You don't even need to buy music anymore.
You just download it and stream it.
Yeah.
Straight to the phone like Netflix.
Mm-hmm. You pay $10 a month for something and you have every song that you've ever wanted.
Ever.
Yeah, for free. Or not free. But
But
contradicting myself on that one.
No, Spotify, they got like a paid for service and that sort of thing.
I have that. I love it.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
I use the free version of it. I never really thought to pay for it myself just because I got enough bills I want to pay for. I could deal with playing whatever it tells me to listen to.
Yeah.
Essentially. But yeah, CD players.
Yeah.
When's the last time you listened to a CD? Let us know in the comments.
It's been a while for me.
I can't even remember the last time I bought a CD.
Last CD I bought was the Marshall Mathers LP2.
Really?
He's the only artist where I will buy a physical copy of his CD. The only one. Everybody else, I'll digitally download it or just listen to it.
So why do you have to have a physical copy?
Because people say, like, when you like the artist, you go out and buy their album and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And in my mind, he's worth buying.
You can buy the digital copy.
I don't want the digital copy because I like the artwork. I like the craftsmanship of everything that goes into the thing. Because he always puts out a deluxe edition that has print by print lyrics of everything, different pictures, and all that kind of stuff that you don't get to see if you buy the digital one. But they'll sell you like the digital booklet, but it's like
that's nostalgia that I miss out of buying physical media.
Exactly.
Is that book or the art or the stuff that came with it, like the ripping off of the cellophane, the opening up the manual that came with it.
You rip it and you're like,
yeah. I mean, books, not books.
Books.
Oh yeah, even books. Opening up a fresh book, man.
They don't come wrapped.
Well, some of them do. Most of them don't. But books, movies, CDs, games, even like those were the days you'd be able to open it up. You'd have something physical in your hand, and there's that nostalgia there. There's still people that will buy physical media only. There's plenty of those kinds of people out there.
I'm like that, and video game wise, I'm like that because a lot of people are like, oh, you can just download it, blah blah blah, play it instantly and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, what are you gonna do when you don't want to play it anymore? How are you gonna sell your digital copy? If you have the physical copy, you can trade it into GameStop and at least get $20, something for it.
Yeah.
But if you have the digital copy of it, it's the same thing with CDs. You can take your CD to a used store and they'll pay you money for it. Not much, probably, but
it's something. I mean, you could at least get something in return.
You can get a very poor return on that investment that you made.
Extremely poor return.
2
Honestly,
years ago.
I used to be the same way, but because of that extremely poor return, I stopped. I stopped caring. I'd rather pay for the convenience of always having it on my device and ready to go.
True.
And miss out on that $20 or the $5 or the $2 I would get.
Yeah.
A year later.
It is interesting how times change, because like when new systems came out, like everyone's like, get rid of the old one and get the new one kind of thing, and then now everyone's going back and buying all the old stuff that they got rid of a long time ago.
I actually suffered from that a lot. Like a lot of people suffer from buyer's remorse back when I used to
remorse.
Yeah, I had seller's remorse back in the day, but back in the day I was growing up as a kid. I only worked part-time. I didn't have a lot of money, so it helped me get my hands on a lot of games that I normally couldn't get, is being able to trade in those old ones that I'm not playing in anymore and bring in the new stuff. And I think that's mostly where the people love the physical market, are the younger generation, where they don't have as much money to throw $60 at every game that comes out. And that's very understandable. And there's a market there. Now that I'm older, I can afford to, throw a little bit more money towards a certain game, or I know of many places I can go where I can get the game for cheaper than normal price. I haven't played $60 for a PC game in a decade. Now, I just thank God Steam.
Yep.
But there's always other options out there, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on
to
digital media. A new form of malware has reached its way onto Android, and it's virtually impossible to get rid of. Essentially, right now, I don't think it's too big of a deal. It just displays ads whenever you're doing stuff on your phone, and I guess people are used to that kind of thing anyway. Most free apps have ads. But the thing is, it's something that it finds its way into your phone, and it's impossible to get rid of almost. Like, I guess factory resetting or just uninstalling the app doesn't fully work for a lot of phones. Right now, it looks like it is confined to just third-party app stores. So, like, if you go to a website and download an app, and install it onto your phone.
As
That's where you'll get it.
Yeah.
And it's so in depth where people would actually build complete apps that look like the Facebook app or they look like the Twitter app, and they'll function the exact same way, but they also install this malware straight onto your phone. So it just goes to show, if you want an app, get it straight from the Google Play Store or the iOS Store, because there are things out there that can harm your device.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane, because I think Apple just had an issue similar to this not too long ago with their phones, where it would work its way into the firmware essentially, and it's again impossible to get rid of. So attackers are getting more and more creative.
Apple had an issue. Usually it was the jailbroken phones, but this article says non-jailbroken phone.
Yeah, so they're getting creative on how they
distribute them.
Yeah, and it's straight up insane the amount of things you gotta look out for. Let me see if they got a name for this malware at all.
Probably just call it Maldroid.
Shifty bug, I think that's what they're calling it. Don't see the spread malware. But yeah,
can you imagine if they, I don't know how they would do it, but I'm sure hackers can do anything. If you had the fake Facebook app that functioned just like the regular one, but every person that you liked or commented on, it gave them.
Oh, that'd be insane. That'd be straight up insane. But check it out. Apparently, they've done some research, and apparently they found over 20,000 apps that have been tampered with in some way to install this program. And 20,000, that's a lot of apps. I mean, there's a lot of apps out there, don't get me wrong. So the chances of you downloading this...
that's like a small city.
Yeah. But if they attach this to something as popular as Facebook, as popular as Twitter, as popular as Instagram, that's going to spread fast. It's just a matter of how you market it in terms of where you place it for people to download. I don't really know many people who are downloading Facebook type apps outside of the Google Play or iOS store anyway, though.
No, I mean, the only people I could think of, and no offense to them because this is how it goes, is elderly people who don't know
any better.
Yeah, what they're doing is those are the same group of people who have nothing but viruses and malware on their computer because they can't see the difference between a legitimate ad and a fake ad.
Yeah.
One that you could click if you felt like it, or one that you should never hover around.
Never go around. Now, anytime I'm in doubt of any type of thing that pops up, even on my phone, because there's a lot of websites, they'll have specific ads for phones and stuff like that. And it'll pop right up in there. It's like, hey, we noticed you got an Android device. Check this out. And no. Anytime I question anything, I shut down the program. I don't even close it normally. I'll just Control-Alt-Delete that thing and get up, because you do not want to have to go through the struggle of getting a virus on your computer or on your phone device or any device actually, and then have to go through the hassle of pulling it out later. Yeah. So it's always better to just not get it at all and just know where you're going and what sites you're visiting.
Yeah, I mean, unless you just had like a garbage throwaway phone that you didn't do any banking on, any social media on. Yeah, it's like you just use it to surf the internet. Then who gives a fuck? You're gonna look at your browser history.
They're gonna see all the porn I watch. Oh God.
No.
All right, moving right along. What do we got?
Oh, oops. Let me go back to it. This one I thought was really cool. 4 days on Kickstarter, and it raised $230,000. It is a garden that lets you grow food in your house.
An in-house garden.
Yeah, it basically. That actually is an aquarium on the bottom, but it's like a little garden aquarium type thing. It's a little stand-up thingy-mabobber, and it has its own ecosystem. I'll explain it real quick. Contains the aquarium where the fish eat the food and turn it into waste. Bacteria take that waste and turn it into nitrates, which is a critical fertilizer for the plants. A plumbing system pumps the nitrate-enriched water through the plant beds creating a self-enclosed ecosystem.
That's insane.
But in 4 days, it reached its funding goal of $230,000. And you can grow your own vegetables, seasonings.
Realistically, though, because that thing doesn't look very big.
Mm-mm.
How much food can you realistically grow in something that tiny?
Depends. I don't know.
I guess it depends on what you plant.
Yeah, things take time to grow, so it's realistically, I don't know.
I don't know either. But that's definitely interesting. My mother actually grows her own tomatoes in the garden she's got outside. And of course, you can only do that seasonally. We live in Michigan, so it's winter here now, basically. It's getting colder.
Yeah,
You're not going to be able to grow as much stuff. So
something like this. Grow the pine tree.
Yeah, you could grow year-round with something like this, which is nifty. It's small enough to stay out of the way.
Yeah, basically, it's just like... And it has a shelf on there, so you can like put stuff on it. Yeah. So it's not a complete waste of space.
No, it looks nice, too.
Yeah, it's a nice little sleek modern design. Looks like she just made herself a salad.
Fresh salad. Fresh salad.
No, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the more interesting Kickstarter things. Because that's actually something like people want it.
You know who's going to buy that up? Like mad are those survivalists. Or those, end of... Like the people who prepare for like the end of the world.
The apocalypse.
Like, the apocalypse. Like, all kinds of stuff. Like I could see them buying like 5 or 6 of these and then putting them down in their bunkers and stuff like that.
Yeah, just constantly growing food.
It's not a bad idea. I like the concept of it. How well does it work in in real life? I'm
growing tomatoes too. Theoretically, I feel like you could make your own at the same point. Or like if you bought one, if you wanted it bigger, you could re-engineer it, or something. I feel like you could.
What's they got a selling price for something like this? Because I know it's on Kickstarter.
Price starts at $2,700.
So it's about a $3,000 system. But you can grow your own tomatoes at home.
Yeah, you can grow your own fruits and vegetables, and then you even get pets to go with it. Then you'll have a bunch of fish.
Absolutely. See, I would love to take something like this and rip it apart just to see what it all consists of.
Oh, for sure.
To see if it's feasible to buy something like this or just go out and put something together myself.
It probably won't look like their concept.
Oh no, it's not going to look nearly. It's not going to look nearly as nice if I build it. Don't get me wrong.
It'll look like a dilapidated blight house.
No, but like carpenters and stuff like that, if they want to build something that's more customized for their particular type of home or a particular type of space, they'll be able to re-engineer that tech and that concept into something that flows maybe a little better with their kitchen or their garage or wherever it is they're going to put this thing. And tech like that it blows my mind. Mm-hmm. And I love seeing stuff like that because it's something that helps better people, I guess. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to eat freshly grown vegetables right at home?
Yeah, that there's no fucking bugs. There's no...
That's true. You don't even have to run pesticides and stuff like that if it's in a home.
Yeah,
unless
Unless you just got a nasty living environment. But if you drop $2,700 on that, your house might be probably pretty nice.
I would like to think so. Otherwise, you got a bug problem and you got more things to worry about than growing your own tomatoes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe the only thing you'd have to deal with potentially would be like fruit flies, maybe.
Yeah. But you could easily deal with those. There's all kinds of tricks on how to get rid of fruit flies and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then... See, the problem I have with, I'm the kind of person, I like to just go to the store and buy what I need and call it a day. Yeah. Where I feel like if I went outside... Because I love tomatoes, but I don't eat tomatoes every day. But if I was growing tomatoes outside... a lot of those tomatoes would probably be wasted because I don't eat tomatoes all the time.
Oh, yeah, but if you go to the store, you buy tomatoes.
I buy, one tomato because that's what I want.
Well, then just grow one tomato, man.
You can't grow one tomato. They come in a bushel.
A bushel. They come in bushels of tomatoes.
You buy one tomato seed, and then you get like 34 tomatoes, and you're like,
what am I going to do with all these tomatoes?
What am I doing with tomatoes?
You got plenty of tomatoes to throw at the kids that step on your lawn or something. Get off my lawn, kids. Throw a tomato at you.
So, I don't know. I guess I'd have to be in that mindset. One thing I do want to grow, and I'm going to do it this summer or this spring when it comes around, I'm growing peppers.
Peppers? What type of peppers? Like green peppers, bell peppers, or
jalapenos,
poblanos,
ghost peppers. Like
you're gonna grow ghost peppers.
I want to grow.
You know what you're gonna do? Peppers. You're gonna grow ghost peppers. You're gonna touch your eye once, and you're gonna tell yourself you're never gonna grow ghost peppers again, man. I made that mistake of cutting up some jalapeno once.
Melanie did that too.
I had an itch. I had an itch on my nose. I didn't even scratch on my eye. It was just near my eye, like right here. And I itched that, and my eye was on fire for like an hour. It was terrible. Worst experience you'll ever have in your life.
That's awesome.
Rub some jalapeno juice in your eye. Any pepper juice, really. It's a horrible experience. I do not suggest it. Not that any of our viewers would see this and be like, oh man, that sounds awesome. Let's go do that.
Yes.
Pepper in the eyes. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. All right, moving right along.
Yes.
Outside of growing your own vegetables, why not make your own power? This city, and forgive me for mispronouncing it, because it is straight up insane, Orazizate? Orazin. Actually, what I put the...
Arzizate.
Arzizate. Hold on, let's have Google Translate tell us exactly how to pronounce this, according to Google.
Orazizate.
Orazizate.
Orazizate. I don't know. I can't pronounce the city name. It ultimately doesn't matter. Actually, that's not even... Yeah. But anyway, these guys live straight on the edge of the Syria desert. They're actually called the... what do they call the city again? The Door of the Desert. Basically, they're right on the desert's edge. And they have a lot of renewable resources and stuff like that out there.
Then they film movies there. That's cool.
They did Lawrence of Arabia and other things like the Mummy, the Living
Game of
Thrones. And so they film a lot of stuff out there. But essentially they got all this land and they're building giant solar farms, I guess you can call them.
Yeah, solar farm.
Yep, giant solar farms. And they're building all of this out there, and the solar farm alone is supposed to generate 1/3 of the city's entire energy usage by the time they're done building it in 2020 is when they want to be done.
Wow.
But that in combination with wind and hydropower that they're doing, like they want to basically run the entire city off of renewable energy. And it's a sweet concept, and not every city can do this, obviously, because they don't have the space for it.
Yeah.
But the solar panels they're building now, basically just, it's flat land, nothing but a sea of solar panels, and I guess they actually rotate with the sun. That way they get 100% efficiency for that point in time and day, which, again, not everyone can do, and it's not cheap at all.
No.
If I remember correctly,
most
about $9 billion has been invested. $9 billion. That's a gigantic price point. But in the end, it'll pay off. In the end, I think something like that would be worth it if you have the money to afford that now. Most cities don't have the space nor the funding to pull something like this off.
No, but I feel like they should try to reinvent the solar panel to make it translucent.
In terms of see-through?
Yeah.
I think they have that tech out there. It's not completely transparent, but I'm pretty sure there's something like that out there.
If it has like 85% transparency, if they could do something like that, and then they went back and re-retrofitted all the skyscraper windows with that, that would make space for these cities to have that type of thing. And now watch. Now that I said it, and no one's probably going to watch this far into the video, but now it's going to happen.
It probably will happen eventually.
10 years from now, they'll be like, oh, they installed translucent solar panels in skyscraper windows. I'll be like, oh,
that was my idea!
I said that!
I can't remember if we talked about this on the show before, but I remember reading this article. They were test running basically a street somewhere where they made the street completely solar panels. It was strong enough to hold cars so that people can traverse and drive vehicles on it, walk, bike on it, and all that. But it's basically an entire street is a giant sheet of solar panels. And they tested this out, and they ran into the issues of the solar panels breaking down under different weather conditions and
ice, freezing,
yeah.
car just wear and tear. Our roads can't even last that long around here, and you're gonna be pouring salt.
We live in Michigan, so that I don't think it stood up to the elements. I think it did a lot better than they expected it to do, which is awesome because now they can take what they learned and make it better. But doing something like that and implementing solar panels or wind or whatever type of renewable energy that we have laying around, like implementing them into our daily lives or in terms of the daily city workings, there's different ways to do that. And I would love to see more cities go out and do something like this. These guys have the space for it. They have the money for it. So why not build solar farms? Why not build wind farms? Because they have all the space. That's not going to work for every city. Like every city needs to attack a renewable resource and tailor it to their own city thing. And I would love to see that more cities attempt something like this.
Yeah, I mean, you see it kind of happening not around here, but since this area is like all developed. But if you go up into the thumb, it's nothing but wind farms.
Yeah.
Because all these farmers took the contracts or like did whatever, and now it's just like a sea of
wind farms.
Yeah, wind farms up there. And everyone who lives up there is all pissed off. Like, oh, they're hideous and blah, blah, blah. It's like, but your electricity bill probably went down. Like,
yeah, you're not paying for it. I mean, how often are you going outside looking at your skylines like, you know what? The skyline would be so much better if these wind farms went here. It's like, it's not really hurting much.
It's one of those things where people, they're not happy because of this, and then they do something about it, and then they're still not happy because now it looks hideous. Like,
you're never going to please everyone.
No one's ever going to be happy. The only people who are going to be happy is the following generation who grew up with those being there, and that's just normal.
Yeah.
How it works.
They don't know anything else. That's all they know.
Yeah, that's always been like this. I don't know.
It's like taking someone who grew up in the city of New York and then throwing them in Kansas.
In the middle of nowhere, and then they're pissed off their entire life, but then their kids are happy because that's just life.
Yep, it's all they know. It's all they need.
Exactly.
What you don't know can't hurt you. I guess that's a terrible way of thinking about it. But
all right,
that's all I got.
So that wraps up this episode of NMP. Be sure to visit the links below and read or view the things that we were talking about. Don't forget to like this video, and if you enjoyed this video, you will probably like the other videos that we have on there.
Yeah, go check those out. They're great. We talk about random stuff all the time.
Go subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to Frenemies Play. Check out the website at 791zero.com for more episodes of NMP, The D-Line, Frenemies Play. The first 3 episodes of Mr. and Mrs. Gaming until I fix that and make it better.
Yeah.
And then that's about it. See you next time.
Till then.
Boom.